Okay, we are live, and I want to say good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever it is for you, wherever you are on the static planet that we like to call Windsor, Ontario. That's where we're from, folks, which is the border town right across from, because you're in my room, you know which way I'm pointing. The Detroit River is that way. Detroit, Michigan. Yes, we're right near the US of A, of course. And right next to me is the man who needs no introduction. Oh my God, I've known this guy since 5th grade. If you don't know, now you know. We've been brothers of different mothers, twin brothers of different mothers for a very long time. We've lived a hell of a journey together. And this journey that we're on now is called The Voice of the Paranormal, the voice for the paranormal. Windsor, Ontario's own The Paranormal Voice. Oh, I'm Michael John of Michael John's Paranormal Ghost Stories as well. Dale, High Spirits Quigley, the man next to me, of course. That's what we're doing, man. We're getting it done, living our dream right here, right now, doing our thing. We get to do what we get to do because of all the creeps, the freaks, the weirdos that we call the TPV Nation. Thank you to everyone from day one to day now. Because of all of you, we are here doing what we're doing. We had a hell of a guest today. Oh my God. But before we get into that, I want to talk about the parapsychon at the Ohio State Reformatory going on right here, right now, as we speak. A gaggle of vendors, a gaggle of speakers, a gaggle of people, the who's who from A to Z in the paranormal world. Our boy Tim Shaw is there, the Buffalo Phantom Hunters, Frank Kupka, Heather Van Hooser there. Oh my God, Vince Cullion, the Paranormal Explorer. The list goes on. So many good people in the paranormal world. Dale, you weren't there doing vending. You went as a fanboy, as I like to call it, and that's okay. Kimberly Sage, mwah, love you, lady. Thank you so much for popping in. We had a hell of an interview with her a couple weeks ago. Again, a great guest like Kimberly Sage lets us do what we get to do and makes us, look cool for a minute because we got someone as cool as her on the show. Thank you, Kimmy, very much. So you're at the Ohio State Reformatory. You're going out. You brought the paranormal godson, as I like to call him, Colby Quigley. Oh my God, we've known that. Well, you've known that kid your whole life, as I have, pretty right since he was born. Oh my God! Yeah. But how cool is that? You got to go with your son, and you got to do a little bit of hang out and do the paranormal thing, and just enjoy the events. There was no pressure for you, right, Dale? No pressure of let's get the next guest. What are we doing now? Where do we got to be? Because it's busy when we're there vending. We're doing our thing.
Absolutely.
So it was a little more relaxed and you got to enjoy yourself, get back to your passion. It's always a passion, but you got to enjoy it in a way you like to enjoy it. First and foremost, you're a fan. I'm a fan. I love this stuff. I love to talk about it. I love to see the people involved in it because they're just like us. They're creeps, freaks, and weirdos. Yes, I'll say it a million times. So it was cool. Ohio State Reformatory, Parapsychon, Mansfield, Ohio. Dale, what was the day like?
Oh my God. I'll tell you, Kathy and Greg put on one amazing event this year. Last year was the first time I attended the event. This year I went and I attended it again because they made it even bigger, better, and badder than ever. And I'll tell you, the crowds were like in droves. Like I was like really, really happy for both those guys who put and their whole team.
Greg and Kathy
team. Yeah. They have an amazing team. Everything went so super swell. And it was just from walking into the door. I love Ohio State Reformatory. It is one of the most iconic buildings you can ever be a part of. For those that don't know, it is the backdrop for the Shawshank Redemption movie, as well as there's a Sylvester Stallone movie that was filmed there. But it is well known for the Shawshank Redemption. It is an absolutely amazing building. Love being in that building. But yeah, from the moment you walk in there, I think Greg said that they had close to 90 vendors there. So
Jesus.
that's amazing. And they're scattered all throughout the building. And and of course I got to meet up with some old friends and got to meet some new friends. Got to meet my good friend Katrina Weidman from the show Paranormal State.
Hey,
and
speaking
Portals
of fanboys, you're a fanboy of her for sure.
Absolutely. It's been a long time since I saw Katrina, so it was really good to catch up with her, get a chance to talk with her for a brief minute. Heather Taddy, of course, from Paranormal State as well.
Don't they work together?
Yeah, they do a YouTube series together, so you can go over to Katrina Weidman's YouTube channel, check it all out. You'll see her and Heather doing their thing.
Okay.
Uh, but yeah, then I got to meet somebody I've been looking forward to meet for such a long time because I'm a huge fan of the show. That is, of course, is Russell Accord from Expedition Bigfoot. I mean, I love that show. I love the cast. Those guys are so amazing. If you've
Yeah.
not seen Expedition Bigfoot, get on Discovery Plus, watch the series. There's 4 series, and I'll tell you, like these guys are out there. And Russell Accord, I mean, I'll tell you, this guy here, he told me he's been searching for Bigfoot since the 70s. Like, come on, he was looking for Bigfoot before looking for Bigfoot was cool. Let me tell you that.
Right.
I mean, that is
Right.
awesome. So yeah, sweetheart of a guy. Yeah, you're gonna see Russell. We're gonna get him on the show talking about Bigfoot and his decades. Like wow,
Talk about
70s. We're talking probably close to 50 years. This gentleman has been looking for
wow.
Bigfoot, and he, of
Amazing.
course, is one of the big main characters on the Expedition Bigfoot show. Of course, along with our good buddy Ronnie LeBlanc and Dr. Maria. I'll tell you, those three, you're going to be able to meet those guys down at the MI Paracon. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I like to put my hand up because I try not to interrupt because I get too excited and I just blurt out. So that's my self-control, folks. I put my hand up so Dale knows. Okay, Michael, go. So you had your experience with the paranormal godson Colby yesterday, Colby Quigley, out there at OSR in Mansfield, Ohio, at the Parapsychon, and then I called you. Hey, how's it going? Hey, what's going on? What are you doing? Who you shaking babies and kissing hands or what? And then you're like, hey, someone wants to talk to you. And then I'm on the phone with a good friend of ours, and I'm proud to call him that. I mean, we've made some friends along the way in this journey. I mean, no one's any better than the other, but I mean, how cool is it? Hashtag blessed, thankful, grateful, humble. I'm on the phone with Ronnie LeBlanc making plans to work out.
Awesome.
Wow.
I mean, yeah,
that's not bragging, folks. I'm beside myself. It's just like I Dale and I, we've known each other since 5th grade. We've had a hell of a journey in our life, and this is just part of it. So you got to celebrate the milestones, and that's a little milestone I just wanted to share with everybody. Carry on,
Absolutely.
Dale.
Absolutely. Lunker Nation at its best. But yeah, no, what a great event. Great crowd. Super happy for the folks at the Parapsychon. They put on one hell of an amazing event. If you've not seen it, you've got till about 5 o'clock today. I think it's ending. But you know what? Mark it on your calendars for 2025 because I'll tell you, it is an absolutely amazing event. Get down there. I'll tell you will not be disappointed with the venue in itself. Like I said, one of the most historic places you can visit, and I'll tell you, it is actually very cheap. Bang for your buck. Get in the door is only $25 to attend this Paracon,
and that gets you everything there, right?
Yeah, get you in the
Access to everything.
speakers, get a chance to meet all the para celebrities.
Great deal.
See some amazing vendors, some readers. Like there was all kinds of psychics. There's all kinds of vendors there doing their thing. Met up with our good friend, the Goose. He was there with his show, the Cryptic Paranormal Show.
Great show.
So, yeah,
Great show, folks.
like I
Check
said,
it out if you ever get a chance. What's the show again? Sorry, I was cutting you off.
The Cryptic Paranormal Show.
Yes.
And you can see that live every Thursday at I believe 8 p.m. Eastern time.
Yeah.
But yeah,
and they know a thing or
check
two.
those guys out. Yes.
They know a thing or two, man. You hear them talk, you're on the edge of your seat eating your popcorn, dropping popcorn, you don't even care. You're just like, what else is he saying? Oh my God, this is good stuff, right? So now let's get to, as you like to say, brass tacks, brother. Brass tacks being our guest today. This guy, lifelong enthusiast, deep-rooted, and we're going to touch on that, a deep-rooted interest in the paranormal as well as esoteric. This guy's an inventor and a creator. He's worked with Jeep, Chrysler, Nikon, host of others, renowned brands, of course. I mean, as we're dropping names here. Dale, you've actually used a piece of his equipment.
Absolutely.
Let's talk about that real quick here, and we'll bring him in.
I got introduced to this piece of equipment. I believe it was last year. I bought it, and it was at first I'm like, really? It's like this device here is going to take the place of several other devices. And so I saw it work firsthand on an investigation up in Palmyra, New York. It's called the Chattergeist.
Ooh.
And it is about the size, folks. It is probably about the size of a silver dollar here in Canada and the United States. So if you can imagine how big a silver dollar is, that's how big this device is. And it is such an amazing little piece of technology. So if you are a techie and love that really cool equipment, I'll tell you, you'll want to listen to this guy today because he's going to explain it from top to bottom on exactly what this device does, how easy it is to use. Like, I'm no tech guy. I'm probably the dumb guy on the block, but I'll tell you, this guy made it as easy as Apple makes it to use the phone. I'll tell you, it was that easy to use. It's plug, let it set itself up, and just start going with it. And the results, like I said, I was thoroughly blown away. And we put this thing through the test rigorously to make sure that what we had in our hands was value to its dollar. And I'll tell you, folks, for the price of this, it is well worth the price. So I don't want to wait this guy anymore. I've been so excited. Like I tell you, this is the first time I actually got to meet a founder of a guy who's out there changing the paranormal equipment industry. Because I'll tell you, this device is, in my opinion, is the device to have in your little box of knickknacks to go. And the beautiful thing about it, one more thing before we bring them on,
Yep.
is that it is so small and so compact. Like, this is all you need to go on an investigation with, because you're going to get everything you need. I mean, yeah, you can bring a bunch of equipment, but this one here, if you're going to do an investigation on the fly, this is the type of equipment you want to have in your back pocket, because it will help you out when you're just doing like just a spare of the moment investigation. You don't need to be lugging around cases and cases of stuff. Let me tell
And
you.
and we were talking to this gentleman backstage, and I will let you follow up with the total introduction, Dale. But I just want to say, a scholar and a gentleman, that term is not used loosely for sure here. Definitely talking to him. He's his company, they're a step above the average device company.
Absolutely. So, folks, I don't want this gentleman to wait anymore. All the way from the UK, folks. Yes, that's right. We're going across the pond once again. I'll tell you, I think I need to move to the UK, because we seem to get a lot of our favorite people from the UK.
Yeah,
And
let's go.
this gentleman is no different. But right now, ladies and gentlemen, TPV Nation, I want to introduce to you the founder of Dimension Devices, Mr. Barrie Reeder.
Hello, thank you very much for having me. What a wonderful intro. One could not imagine a better intro. Cheers for having me on. Awesome.
Yes, no, I mean, this is so exciting. Me and you have been talking through Instagram now for a little while. And yeah, I mean, it was like a no-brainer to have you on the show, because this is what this show is about. It is about educating people, bringing people out here, and letting people explore new ways of investigating. It is a new era. It's in a new technology era. Yeah, we have some pretty amazing old style equipment, but what you have created is an absolute amazing little device. And I mean, it's a little device by size, but in its capabilities, it's very large. Let me tell you that.
Yeah, that's something that we really wanted to push, is lots of functionality in a small form factor. One of the things that we didn't like about the paranormal equipment community or business model is generally you get one thing that does one or maybe two or three different modes of functionality, and that's it, and it costs like an arm and a leg, like the best part of $1,000 for some of these bits of equipment. So that's something that we just didn't want at all. So the main thing was affordability and functionality, and then there's a modularity, which we'll go into a bit later, I'm sure.
And that speaks a lot about, I mean, your ethics, if you will, as a businessman. I mean, you're looking at affordability for the average paranormal enthusiast. I don't have $1 million in my back pocket. Yeah. You know what I mean? I'm paying the bills as I can. So that's appreciated first and foremost, whether it's Canadian dollars, American dollars, UK dollars. The bottom line is affordability. So thank you for even thinking of that.
Well, that's, I mean, it was super, like I said, it was super important. It was basically the reason why Dimension Devices was started was because of the unaffordability for the average person to go out for a ghost hunt. I mean, you're talking, you'd need at least $1,000 to get like the general sort of stuff that we've managed to pack into Chattergeist. So it's nice to have that sort of feedback. So thank you.
No, are you kidding? Thank you for everything. I want to say, so I'm looking at your bio here. You're a lifelong enthusiast. Deep-rooted interest in the paranormal as well as the esoteric. So you're a creep, a freak, and a weirdo. That's what that says to me, brother. And that is the highest compliment.
Yeah. I'm 100%. I hold my hands up. Yep, that's me.
Guilty. So, have you ever had any experiences? And if you have, at the earliest age, better yet, so the earliest age you experienced an encounter, if you will. We ask everybody this.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I mean, it's a good question to ask. I'm going to be quite disappointing in the fact that.
No, I don't.
Oh well, I think you'll be surprised. Basically, my history of paranormal goes way back to like when I was like 6 or 7 years old, and I found a book on ghosts and UFOs. But I didn't actually have any sort of experiences until I was, I want to say, sort of 15 or 16.
Okay.
And then all it was I was coming downstairs in the morning, and there was like an apparition, slight shadow. It went left to right down the bottom of the stairs, or right to left, I should say. And at the time, we had 2 doors leading into our living room, and one of them had been blocked off, so we could make the living room open plan. And the apparition went through the blocked off door. And ever since then, I've just been like, well, I don't know what that is. I've got no idea. And I'm not really too sure I want to know. But that was my first sort of introduction firsthand to the paranormal. And I've had a couple of minute ones since then. But I like to consider myself, and this is very important for everyone who's listening, I like to consider myself a healthy skeptic. I will always try and debunk. I will always try and take any sort of knowledge and scientific information I can towards what I'm experiencing before I try and convince everyone it's paranormal.
And you know what? We can't agree more here. First thing and foremost, right? What's the plausible reason? What's going on? The who, the what, and the why? Why did it go bump in the night? Why did I see that out of my side peripheral vision? Was that lights from going through my curtains from the traffic? A million scenarios, right? So I love that you think like that. That's how you got to do it, right? And unfortunately, and I'm sure not unlike yourself and many people watching right now, and those listening at KGRA Digital at 1 a.m. Got to get the plug in there. 1 a.m. Saturday nights. We all want everything to be paranormal, boom, like that. Of course it is. I wish, but unfortunately, it's not. Most things can be debunked. 90% of things should probably be debunked, in my opinion, my humble opinion.
Yeah, I 100% agree. And I think a lot of it, and the problem with social media, kind of social media's influence on that, is sensationalism. And I'm sure you've seen it all over the internet recently, where every other Gen Z, or Gen Z as we call them, Gen Z YouTube paranormal person is shouting demon. And it's sensationalist, and it gets clicks, and I understand it completely, but it does water down actual results quite substantially.
Yeah, my opinion is this, and we've talked about this, Dale. So many times, not even funny. Okay, so it's the word demon. I don't like that word. Not a fan. My thing is this: as in life, Barrie, so in death. If you're a good person in life, you're going to be like that in death. And if you're a jerk and a liar, etc., like you get on a Ouija board, for example, which is a tool, folks, in my opinion. There's nothing wrong with it. Oh, I'm a demon. Everybody's terrified. Well, majority of people, oh my God, you said demon. Because they're liars. They're going to tell you that to freak you out. You know what I mean? But no, man, nah. There's so many different types of beings out there, and that's a whole other story altogether. But in the realms and the dimensions, if you will, right? But again, Michael John does not believe in the word demon. But yes, sensationalism is a great way to put it. It's really blown up.
Yeah, right? It really has. talking about, and maybe we can go into a bit of this later on as well. But my belief in what ghosts are isn't dead people. I don't believe ghosts are dead people, and that's something maybe. Do you want me to quickly outline what I do believe now?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah, sure. So what I believe is all time happens all the time, and I'm not obviously I can't prove this. This is my hypothesis, my theory, and I believe all time happens all the time. So some of this happening 9 million years ago, or 2 years ago, or 100 years in the future, or 1,000,000 years in the future is already happening right now. We're like layers on top of each other, and I think some people are able to tune into that more than others, and more to the point of that, I also believe that buildings, so everything has, have you ever heard of Dr. Emoto?
No.
So Dr. Masaru Emoto is a Japanese guy who wrote a theory on water having memory. And this is kind of what everything, the whole of Dimension Devices and Chattergeist is kind of based on. Okay. And that is, so there's a thing he did called the rice experiment. You get 3 pots of rice, all made from the same pot. You label one love, you label one hate, and you label the other with a blank label. And you make sure they're cooking and done. You leave them all on the shelf, and then each morning you come down, and to the love one, you say, oh, I love you. To the hate one, you say, I can't stand you, you're awful. And to the other one, you ignore it. And over time, you'll notice that the one you've spouted hate to has molded faster than the ones that you
Come
haven't.
on.
So this theory is that water can hold memory and intent. So my theory is buildings are made of bricks and mortar. Mortar holds water. Water, if it's been in there for a long time, could possibly hold intent from way back when. So it could be that the combination of intent and the combination of different times all layering up at the same time kind of merge at some point, and some people can kind of feed into that, and some buildings project that out, kind of like the Shining Hotel, the Overlook Hotel, right? Yep. It's kind of got that energy in it, and it can pull it out, and some people are more tuned to that. That's kind of my belief of what ghosts are, in a nutshell.
I like that. So intertwining of dimensions.
Yeah, basically, yeah. Basically, I guess in a temporal sense. So into splicing of like time dimensions, I guess, or something.
And I mean that really coincides with a book that I just finished reading by a good friend of ours, also Mike Ricksector. Just released a book not too long ago called Travel Through Time, and it is talking about the different dimensions and how they are all working at the same time in so when we see things or things happen, it happened in a different time period, but it also happened in our time at real time, and this is how we're able to see it. And that's the way he explains it through his book. And an amazing book. If anybody loves to read about this stuff, go on to Amazon and pick up Mike Ricksector's new book. It's called Travel Through Time. An amazing author, amazing friend of ours. We've had him on the show a few times. Just talked to him yesterday. But yeah, it is an absolutely amazing book, and it goes along with your theory, Barry, that these buildings do absorb energy. Water does carry it, because that is something we've learned about throughout the years, and how water can carry energy, and through that can create the energy for people to be able to pick up or sense things as they happen, as well as buildings that are, especially the older structures. Anything over, I would probably say 50 to 60 years of age would hold the different types of stone. Where nowadays this new concrete and new materials that they're using build buildings nowadays are not made of these foundations as they were 50 plus years ago. So I believe the history of those buildings do absorb the energy of stuff that happened inside those walls, and hence why prisons are so heavily have a lot of activity in them. Older castles like in the UK, like the stuff that goes on inside those walls, that it gets absorbed inside of a building. So yeah, that would make perfect sense, and along the lines with what you're talking about.
I think also, just to quickly interject as well, I think also it lends some credence to priests blessing water. If you have actual intent and you have actual good intent and it's pure, you actually believe it. When you bless the water, it could change the structure of the water. Maybe that blessing does hold in the water itself.
Yes.
So it,
That's
and then
heavy.
you bless someone else. Yeah, it's an interesting theory. I've got nothing to base this on. It's all just stuff I've thought about over the
It's
years.
great.
But it's
But you
interesting
know what?
to me.
That is just it. I mean, we all have our opinion. We all have our beliefs. Doesn't mean any of us are wrong. Absolutely not. Everybody is entitled to think how they want to think and what they believe in. If this is how you believe it is, and you know what, this is how you end up creating great devices as we're about to speak about right here. And so let's get right into it. What made you, I know you touched a little bit about it and making it affordability, but I want to talk about, like, when did this idea come to your head and how did you get this project off the ground?
Yeah, so it's quite an interesting story, I guess. I was working as a programmer and web developer, and had been for 25 or plus years or something. And I was just sick to death of office politics, and the way the workload was going. It was all very different to when I started in the early 2000s. So just, well, in late 90s, I guess. But I just got so fed up with it, I just jacked it in. And then I started doing remote work, a bit of freelance. Didn't enjoy that either. It was the same sort of deal. So decided to just jack it in completely. And at that moment, I bumped into Travis Wizotsky. And I don't know if you know of Travis. Oh, you need to look him up. He's amazing. He's only got a little YouTube channel, but it's growing. And he does paranormal investigations, and they are really down to earth, no sensationalizing. And he's just a good chap. And he's the reason why Dimension Devices exists. So technically, it's all thanks to him. And at the time, I was playing a game called Project Zomboid on the PC, which is a great game. But I wanted to watch someone else play it, see how they played it. So I just YouTube stream, and Travis was on there. So I joined his stream, chatted to him for a bit, joined his Discord, chatted to him for a bit, found out he did paranormal investigations. And I was like, oh, I've always had an interest in ghosts and aliens and conspiracies. Let's talk. So he was chatting to me for a bit, and he brought up a piece of equipment I'd never heard of, the Ovilus. And I was like, oh, what is this strange thing? Send me a link. So he sent me a link, and I had a look at it. And my first thought was, Jesus Christ, that's expensive. And then my second thought was, is that all it does? And that is the reason why Chattergeist exists. So the Ovilus, people love the Ovilus, and I'm not knocking it in any way, shape, or form. I just think it's quite expensive for what it is. And from then on, we basically made a prototype, or I basically made a prototype talking with Travis backwards and forwards. And it became a little breadboard with an old Nokia screen on it and a bunch of sensors plugged in it, a load of wires. And that was the first version of Chattergeist, which I've got a picture of somewhere. And that was version 0.1. And then over the course of what was basically a year, we refined that. And I refined that with loads of programming and loads of programming. I think we're on something silly now, 40,000 lines of code or something silly, into what it is today. And for those of you watching, this is Chattergeist. This is what it looks like. Ooh, I don't drop it. Oh, you got one up on the screen. You lovely person. Yeah, that is the Chattergeist. And yeah, it's the same form factor as a Google Pixel smartwatch. So it's 1.28 inch screen. And we're making all sorts of little accessories, and we're constantly doing updates. I think we're on 5 updates or 6 updates now we've done for firmware and software. And each update brings a new operating mode. And obviously performance fixes and memory allocation fixes and all those sorts of lovely things that you get with software development. So yeah, I mean, that's basically how we got to where we are today. It's kind of interesting story in the fact that it just kind of happened out of nowhere, and it was pure chance that this came about. But yeah, that's where we are. And many, many, many thanks to Travis, and I will shout him out forevermore for being able to sort of enable me to make the Chattergeist.
So let me ask you this. I'm not familiar with it. Dale's the one that's been privy to using it on a few occasions now. So this is an Ovilus, comparable to an Ovilus, comparable to a Ghost Box. Is it comparable to any of the devices out there, or is it its own unique device?
I would say yes to both. So basically, it is its own device, and we'll get into a little bit of that in a bit. But comparatively, it's similar to the Ovilus in the fact that it has a dictionary mode, which spits out words depending on environmental data. and it has a drawing mode, but there's vast differences between the way the drawing mode works on ours, and we can go into that because I'm quite excited about that. And it's similar to the Envoy. If you've ever heard of the Envoy, which is a little device about yay big, I think it's selling for like $600, and it's got a little dial on it, measures EMF, I believe, and it's got a magnetometer, and it just spits out letters one at a time until it makes words. So those two modes we have in Chattergeist, they both work very, very similar. They're slightly tweaked because we didn't want it to work exactly the same, because that's just silly. But they're essentially the same sort of principle. And then we've also got another 5 or 6 modes on top of that now, I believe. So yeah, they're on the screen now. There's the initial 5 modes and the history. So from the top, we've got the dictionary mode, which is similar to the Ovilus. Then going around clockwise, we've got the phonetic mode, which spits out parts of words, and then you can piece them together and read them aloud to see whether it sounds like anything. We've got the 8-ball, which is like the classic Magic 8-ball, which has got yes, no, and all the answers in between. We've got the Ouija mode, which is a Ouija board, which letters pop up on. And then we've got the canvas drawing mode, which generates images based on environmental data. So yeah, it's a kind of multifunctional device. And on the side, you've also got a little 4-pin UART port, which we're going to be developing some plugins and extensions for it to further enhance the functionality. Oh, I think you're muted, Dale.
There we go. No, absolutely amazing. And like I said, the device itself, like we tested this thing just to make sure, because yeah, I mean anybody could with a really good data background or capability of designing stuff come up with this stuff. But I'll tell you, we tested this alongside of the most well-known equipment out there, obviously the Ovilus. Never tested it against the Ouija board before, but that would be another interesting experiment. I have not used the drawing feature yet, but I look forward to one of these days to definitely using it. But yeah, I mean, like just on this screen alone, and I know you can swipe it, and any additional apps or programs that are in this device will be on the next screen. So it's just, I mean, relatively it works just like your phone.
Yeah.
The more apps you just scroll, and the screen moves, and you can use different functions on it. So very well put together, very light device. Uh, and like I said, this does not have an internal. It does not come with a battery inside, is what I'm trying to say. But at the same time, that is also a good thing. So you don't have to ever worry about, oh my God, did I leave the batteries in the device? And then, after time, we know batteries can corrode and ruin the device itself.
Yeah, I mean, it was a split decision. So the initial plan with Chattergeist was to release it with an internal battery, but the internal batteries we could find that would fit relatively well inside the case were only 500 milliamps. So you're talking maybe 4 hours usage max, and then you'd have to charge it. And for the average investigation, 4 hours is nothing. People stay overnight. So what we're actually done is just allow anyone to power it. But we've also got in the mix as well. I don't know if this will pick up very well on the. It's a bit of a mess because it's a prototype, but this is the wrist strap. You get like Chattergeist plugs into there, and then you can have like a little wrist strap that goes on. So the battery's inside there.
Amazing.
And that'll last somewhere in the realm, we're hoping, of 14 hours, which is much more acceptable, and it's rechargeable, just a USB-C charge. So that's something we're working on at the moment. And we've also got tabletop stands as well. I'm not too sure whether we're actually going to release these, but you pop the Chattergeist in, plug it into the little 2-pin slot there, put the little planchette on top, and that's got letters on it. So the planchette mode actually on the Chattergeist is a little Ouija planchette that just rotates, and you can then line it up with the letters. So you could use this effectively as a Ouija board. So yeah, we're messing around with a few different prototypes at the moment. We've got nothing released when it comes to extensions, but we've got some great ideas.
But those are amazing ideas because, like I said, I mean, what else makes this a more of a one-stop shop type of device you want to get in your hands? Because yeah, you're already saving the average paranormal investigator thousands of dollars by incorporating the initial really well used 5 things that we all use in the thing. Not a lot of people use the Ouija boards. I get that because people are still stuck on that they do nothing but open up portals and conjure demons. Oops, I said the word
Yep.
demon.
Right.
Sorry,
Yeah.
but
True.
no, it is not true. A Ouija board is used no differently than anything else. In the proper hands and with the right knowledge, it is just another way to communicate. It's no different than our spirit boxes and our geos.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it is as long as you use it with the right intention, you're going to get the right results out of it.
So this feeds back into my my theory about what ghosts are. I believe that intent is one of the very few documented but most powerful things that humans have available to them.
Yes,
Because if I say, are we allowed to swear on this show?
of course.
So
Absolutely.
if I said to you, you fucking prick, you'd be like, ah, ha, ha, ha. But if I said to you, you're a fucking prick, then you'd be like, oh wait, hold on a second. And that's just pure that's just pure intent. That's just intent from my mind that's come out of my mouth. So it's one of the most powerful things we have. And wars have been started over intent, and genocides have happened. So it's one of the very few things that I don't think people really talk about. But yeah, sorry, interject that.
Yeah, no, you know what, Barry, you are so right on about that. How people believe that their opinion is the strongest, and good or bad, that's what they believe it is. And it's just intent. Everything is intent. Everything you put in the universe is intent. If you wake up every day to say, well, you know what, I'm gonna cause nothing but issues and be a prick to everybody, then I'm gonna be a prick to everybody, and people are gonna be pissed off at me. But if I wake up and I'm like, you know what, I want to make a difference in this world because I believe the world needs a little good in it, then you know what, that's what you're going to spread. And it's using these devices. Like, people do use them for the wrong intent. They want to try to open up a portal. They want to try to conjure up, I'm going to say the word again, a demon. But you really don't want to involve that negativity into your life.
Yeah,
It's not. You don't. Negativity is a bad thing, folks. Just think about it for a brief second. Would you rather be happy, or would you want to be miserable?
Right.
That's the choices you have in life.
Well, I think a lot of people like to think they want to be happy, but they cause themselves a lot of misery, and I think there's a huge disconnect there, unfortunately. But no one can help them except for themselves, unfortunately.
And that's the intent. You got the choices in life. You've got 2 choices in life: be happy or be miserable. The choice is yours. Nobody can make those differences for you. Sorry, Michael John.
Speaking of happy, we got a young lady on the side here for you, Barry. Nicolette Gardiner. Hi, guys. I just want to say to Barry, thank you. I have a Chattergeist. I am so pleased with it. It's handy, lightweight. You can just connect it to your phone or battery pack.
Thank you very much, Nicolette. That's awesome. Yeah. I mean, stuff like that, feedback like that just makes me smile. Awesome. But that's something actually we didn't actually mention, is that you can actually just power it from your phone. You do need to get a little USB converter, but they're like less than $1, I think, on Amazon or something silly. But yeah, that way you can have your phone in your pocket, Chattergeist in your hand, or however you want to do it. But yeah, thank you very much, Nicolette. That's awesome.
Yeah, no, like I said, from the moment I saw your device being used during a real investigation, I never heard of it before. A good friend of ours, her name is slipping me, and I just Bree Hollingshead.
Oh yeah, Bree. Yeah, love Bree. Loved you, Bree.
She was the one who introduced me to the Chattergeist, and like I said, I thought, number one, what a unique name. I'm like, that is so cool.
Funnily enough, just very, very quickly, so bouncing names backwards and forwards while we were developing this, and the Chattergeist ended up sticking. But the moment I found it and we started selling it, we realized that actually there was another device called Polterscript, which is like the opposite of Chattergeist. So we're using Geist and they're using Polter, they're using Script and we're using Chat. So it's just like a flipped version. So it's so strange that we come across that. But yeah. Sorry, just wanted to throw that in there as a funny.
Anecdote. And that's what I was going to ask, is like, how did you come up with such a unique name? Because the name means everything. It's something that us in the paranormal field, like things that stand out. And
Yeah.
like I said, the
Yeah.
Chattergeist, I mean, as soon as you hear the word or somebody say it, you're like, what are you talking about? Like,
Yeah.
what is a
that?
chatter? What is a Chattergeist? Is that like a poltergeist that doesn't want to stop talking? Like, that's cool, really.
Basically, yeah. Yeah, so I mean, I honestly, I can't tell you how I came up with it or how we came up with it. I can't remember who came up with it or anything. All I remember is writing it down. And then I woke up one morning and it was written on a notepad on my computer. And I was like, oh, well, I guess it's called Chattergeist now. And we added the touch at the end because it is a touch screen device. So
Yes.
Chattergeist Touch, although most people just call it Chattergeist.
Yeah, we like the short, simplest, direct to the point of what we are holding in our hands.
Yeah, 100%.
I want to ask real quick. I do that because I get excited and I don't want to. I interrupt. I talk out of turn. I hate it. So this is how I control it, Barry. With all due respect, of course.
Me and you both, mate.
So, Ghost Box. If you can even share on it, I mean, you have some things probably in the fire, if you will. Do you have plans for creating a Ghost Box, attaching it to the Chattergeist, a separate entity, anything that sort of way?
So we've got a few different ideas of what to attach to the Chattergeist. One of the main ones at the moment is a Frank's box. Do you know what a Frank's box is?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Yeah, so we've got, I don't know whether I've got it readily available next to me. I don't think I do. I've got a little FM radio module that we're prototyping. So on the edge of the Chattergeist, I don't know whether it's going to pick it up on camera, but in there, I don't know whether you can see that or not, that tiny little hole, it'll plug into there and clip onto the bottom, and it'll have an aerial and a headphone port.
Nice.
And the idea is that it's going to be basically the same as a Frank's box, so flick through radio stations and pick up bits and pieces in a random sort of pattern, different sine waves and all sorts of quad waves and all sorts. But we also want to add, because it's a touchscreen device, and I don't think this has ever been done, so I'm really interested to see the results if we can get it working, is a scratchable version. So in terms of DJ scratching, but on here with the Frank's box. So instead of having an automatic version, which it will have anyway, where it flicks through channels, you could also manually do it by scratching. So you could scratch it back and forwards, or maybe around the side kind of makes more sense, but you'd be able to scratch it backwards and forwards in order to try and get something out of it, if you kind of see what I mean. And obviously this is all R&D phase at the moment. It's probably the best way to put it, because we're still putting everything together, but it's something that we would definitely like to release with the Chattergeist. And that'd be damn
That's
cool.
exciting.
Yeah, I hope so.
Oh, good luck with that.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing the info, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, if anything, what another big thing for me, there's two big things about running a paranormal company for me, or three if you include affordability. But one is good customer service. It drives me nuts when people can't just reply to an email quickly or, anything like that. I'm quite picky. So I like good customer service. We've got excellent customer service. I'm really proud of it. And what was the other thing? Oh my God. My mind's drawn a blank now. I've got it from Dale. Jesus. No, it's gone completely. Yeah. Clap away. I'm done. Hey, come to me in a minute.
So I've got the website scrolling across the bottom. It is also in the link below. You guys have a YouTube channel where people can go once they get their device and see exactly how each function works. I love that about your equipment, because you buy equipment from a lot of these major companies. They don't do tutorial instructions on how to use it, because I don't know if they automatically assume that people would just know how to use it and use it properly. And that's what I mean, properly, because there's no sense of forking your good hard-earned money out for a piece of equipment if you're not going to be able to use it properly, because then you're not going to get the results that you want, and then you're going to be frustrated because now you believe you got a piece of crappy equipment in your arsenal. And that's the one thing I do like about your company, is that you guys will post videos on your YouTube page about the latest updates, how to use them. So that is refreshing in itself. So go over to their YouTube page. I believe I linked that in the description below as well, so you can check out all the different features, how it's used. Like I said, that is one of the unique things I really like about your company.
I mean, I will say the YouTube videos are slightly out of date, but we are in the process of redoing a bunch of videos. So we want to get some good showcase videos, because at the moment all we've got is like a couple of static images of, well, a few static images of the device, and we've done some sort of snippets here and there on Instagram Reels and things like that. But the YouTube channel's got some up close tutorial videos for the main operating modes. But obviously, since then, we've also released 4 other modes, I think, or 5 other modes. 4 other modes, I think it is. So yeah, we need to do more videos. Having the time in the day to do more videos is another thing entirely, because we've got to record them and everything. But we do have plans to take it. So just around the corner from us, where we're based in Derbyshire in the UK, there's a little church that I believe dates from I believe it's the 14th century, so the 1300s. I believe that's how old the church is. So we're going to go down there. That's where we first tested the device. So we're going to go back down there and do another show reel at dusk. And,
so is it fair to say then you're an investigator as well?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not as active as what I would like to be, unfortunately, because developing takes an awful amount of time. But yeah, I would definitely consider myself a curiously, healthily skeptic investigator, I guess.
Do you have any dates up the road? You're going to go hang out somewhere and talk to the ghosties?
Well, at the moment, like I said, the only thing we've really got loosely planned is to pop up to the local cemetery and have a quick browse around. We've been thinking of doing some paracons. There's been a couple in the UK that we missed last year, so I've been tempted to sort of set them up this year. But again, we've got nothing sort of in concrete yet. Just one of those things. But if you ever want us anywhere, drop us an email on the website, and I'm sure we can sort something out.
Okay.
Absolutely. So anybody out there listening, if you're an organizer of an event or know an event, reach out to these guys, let them know about it. And
MJ Dixon.
Yeah. MJ. Yeah, I will make sure that when I'm up next week with MJ at her Sage Paracon, I hope she'll be watching this video at some time. I know she's in the thick of it all right now, getting ready for next weekend, because I don't know exactly when she's leaving the UK to head to the United States, but I am definitely going to be plugging you guys, and I'm actually going to bring my Chattergeist with me, because they do an investigation at the Belgrove Plantation on the Saturday night. It's all a part of the event, so I'm going to definitely make sure that it is in my bag and ready to go, so I can show everybody this device, how it works in person. And like I said, that's what got me hooked, is I got to see it in person. Watching a video is great, don't get me wrong. It is good reference, but to see something in real-time action, to me, is a lot better than seeing a video, because no offense to any people that put content out there about devices and stuff like that, but it's so easily to fake stuff with good editing and good but to see it in real time and as it's working, it is, to me, that's the best tutorial that you can give a device, is to have it so people can see it, touch it, feel it, and see how it works for themselves. Because like I said, I love the content out there. That's how we get educated. But at the same time, I'm a hands-on type of person. I want to touch it, feel it, use it to know, hey, is this worth my dollar to invest into, to make sure that I'm going to get out of it what my intent for this piece of equipment is. So
yeah,
absolutely.
I think it's sorry.
No, I was just going to say absolutely. So so anybody who's going to be at Sage Paracon next weekend, I will have the device with me. So if you want to see it live and in person, it'll be sitting at my table, and I'll be using it on the Saturday night.
Awesome. But yeah, I just wanted to quickly interject that. Well, firstly, thanks. I appreciate that. We'll definitely sort you out some things. You'll have to talk behind the scenes about some stuff. But yeah, this is being tangible, holding things, and deciding whether it's for you. It's funny, and you saying faking stuff. The first video we ever put out for Chattergeist, with the actual Chattergeist in it, was just a very short clip that I put filters over to make it look like an 80s video. And it just showed the dictionary mode, an early version of the dictionary mode, loading, scanning, and then showing a word. And genuinely, the Chattergeist has 17,000 300 and something words in it at current count, and we're increasing that as time goes on. And the first word and the only word to come out in the dictionary mode is graveyard, and that just happened to be where we were. And the chances of that are obviously 1 in 17,300 and something, but that then compounded when you think that the Chattergeist actually then picks a number of words from 1 to 5, and it decided to pick 1. So then the chances of that then become astronomically high. And the other stuff we've had from the device has been incredible. We've had images of shadow people come through, and we keep getting them. We've got no idea why that happens. The algorithm for the image generation literally just takes the raw data from the temperature, micro EMF, and radio frequency noise, and puts a color in the top left of the screen, a little square of color. So let's just say it picks green. Then the next square over, it will assess the data again, and depending on the fluctuation between the last and the current read of data, it will then change that color, either brighter, darker, different hue, or something like that, and it'll go through the entire image until the entire image is drawn. That's all it does.
Wow.
So why it generates these shadow people, I have no clue. But for that reason, I don't want to change the draw mode, the canvas mode at all. I just want it to keep doing this and see whether we can get to the root of why this is happening.
Incredible.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, one of the other things, this is more incredible, and somewhere I've saved the chances and the chances of it happening, and it's something like 1 in 8 quintillion. So what this was, and in the envoy mode, well, a quintillion is more stars than 100 million times. Yeah, a quintillion is like 100 million times the number of stars that are in our galaxy. So it's an incredible amount.
Wow.
But so what this was is the envoy mode. We got the letter envoy mode, and all it does is spit letters out on the screen and spaces, and you can like swipe around the edge of the device to make it go faster or slower, and that's the polling rate of the data of the environmental sensors. So I had it on normal, and it was just piling through letters, and the first line said, "I am God." And I've got screenshots and video of this because I was recording a video for the YouTube channel, and I just stopped and I was like, right, I need to just calculate the chances of this. So the first bit, there was an E at the start. Let's just disregard that. And then it was "I am God," and then 2 spaces, and then the other letters. So that kind of truncates "I am God" to like make a point of it, right? And I was like, that's weird. And then the next pass round, it said something like, "You are God." I'll have to check the video, but it's something like "You are God." So it just changed the I to a U, and then it had 2 spaces again. And I was like, man, that's the chances of that are absolutely crazy. And it said something else afterwards. I'll have to look it up after the show. But the chances, like I said, were like 1 in 100 million times the number of stars in our galaxy. And I just sat there and I was like, I guess I'm done developing and testing today. I'll go and have a beer and go and sit down. That's enough for me. Yeah, it's absolutely crazy. I've never seen anything like that since. That's the most crazy thing we've had.
Wow. And you were where when this happened? Were you in a cemetery, in a church?
I was right here. I was
right there
here
in your house.
Yeah, I was developing, because I develop here at the computer. I just had this plugged into my PC, and I was just recording with my phone on top of it. Just recording just to get some like raw, what do they call it? Like stock footage.
Yeah,
basically.
So I want to ask. I know it's crazy, but sorry, it's the best way for me. I swear to God.
That's cool.
With everything with you're developing in your house, you just said something, and it triggered me to ask you this: do you have any guests there?
So I have my partner. We live together, and we've got 2 dogs.
No, sorry. Spirit guests.
Oh, spirit guests. Oh, sorry. I see. Not that I'm aware of.
Okay.
I don't know. There has been a couple of instances where I've been sat somewhere and I've heard something, and both me and my partner have been sat like the TV's just been turned off or something, and then there's been a clonk or a couple of clonks upstairs. I can't understand what that might be, but whether that's paranormal or not is up for debate.
Right.
Really.
Like maybe you've opened a portal or whatever, got 8 million terms of what it could be that we opened a door to with dabbling in what you do dabble in, if you will. I'll say it like that. It's very possible, right? That's why I was just curious of that.
So going back to my theory of ghosts, opening a portal to me is not the literal opening of a portal to the spirit realm. To me, that is attuning yourself. So rather than oh, I've suddenly used a Ouija board and now there's demons after me. It's more the fact that you have got yourself in that mindset to attune your consciousness to that kind of that layer of time or something along those lines.
Boom.
It's all very loose in my head, but you kind of get where I'm going from.
I understand. Yeah, sure Dale does too. Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, like I said, while you're in your house, you're testing this equipment, and obviously you're asking or you're going through the different modes. You're asking potential questions just to see how the device reacts.
Yeah.
And I mean, spirit communication is, like me and Michael John said, they hear you. All you have to do is ask a question, and it doesn't necessarily mean you have spirits running around your house that are confined. Like they can come and go as you please. So if you're asking a question just to see how the device is going to react, and essentially what you're doing is you're inviting them to come to you, answer your question, so that you can get that data. Go, okay, this is what the device is doing. This is how it's reading. Like you said, you were just there and it spitted out the words that I am God and then you are God. And which in a lot of people, like depending on your religion and your background and stuff like that, yes, in a sense of the way, we are all in the image of God. If that's what you truly believe, we are in the image of who created us, like the creator. But that's
That's a whole other
pretty
show.
amazing. That's pretty amazing what you got out of that. Just that one little bit, 2 sentences came through crystal clear. And I think if that happened to me, I'd be like you. I'd put it down and go, "Yep, time for a drink."
Yeah. Time for a break. I do going back to what you just quickly said about asking questions and spirits responding. So I don't want to keep harping on about what my belief in ghosts, but
no, please do.
To go into the same sort of layers of reality. So the way quantum computers work, to my knowledge, and please someone correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe what actually happens is if you were trying to calculate 1 + 1, it would then gather all the answers that exist in parallel universes. And this is not science fiction. I believe this is actually how it works. And when it finds the one that matches, it returns that. So, and that's the limit of what I know. It's so mind blowing. I can't even explain it. But with the Chattergeist, and indeed with any other computer, perhaps the system is the same. Perhaps with your intent as the precursor to pushing the program, you can attune it to a certain time layer, if you want to call it that, and get the result that you're expecting.
Right.
Or maybe or to attune the result that makes sense to the device, or any of these myriad of options. But that's kind of what I believe. I mean, I can't quite be certain because I'm not really too sure what I believe myself.
I mean, I know for a lot of us out here, it's you cannot believe that we are alone and we are the only ones that exist in this world. I mean, there are different planes, there's different dimensions. There is so much happening around us that a lot of us would not have a clue or even want to even fathom how massive, like interdimensional. And I mean, this is going back. So real quickly, I want to ask you and get your thoughts on aliens, Bigfoots, the cryptid world, the alien world. Where do you believe that this device could possibly go that will help us detect these other things? And not just spirits, but hey, let's think about, let's see if this device could help us communicate with the aliens in the cryptid world.
Well, so I don't know about communicate. I mean, I'd love to believe that. As for Sam Squanch, I am a firm believer in some form of humanoid ape. It's somewhere in the world. I can't pinpoint a place. All I can say is there was a site in here, there was a site in there. But the signs are so numerous and throughout history that there must be some truth to it. Right. Aliens, if aliens exist to me, I believe, at least when it comes to UFOs, that seem to be orbs of light. I'm discounting the ones that seem like solid objects, because my assumption is they're probably experimental aircraft. But the ones that seem like light and seem to morph in and out of reality, I would kind of believe that they are interdimensional. I don't know whether you've ever seen Carl Sagan explain the flat world, I think it's called. You ever heard
love
of
that
that?
conspiracy.
I've heard of it. I have not seen it though. Yeah.
It's nothing to do with flat Earth, guys. Don't worry.
Yeah.
So the idea is that if you had an entire world of people that only lived in a 2D plane, there was no height at all. They were just width and length. Okay. And a 3D object, like an apple, I think Carl Sagan uses, was to pass through this dimension. You wouldn't see it as an apple. You'd see it as slices of the apple. You'd see a spot here, a spot there. And then suddenly the spot will be there. And then suddenly it's there. And then suddenly it's bigger. And suddenly it's smaller. And then suddenly it disappears. That's quite akin to how UFOs, orb-based UFOs, seem to function. They disappear, they reappear, they go through matter, there's multiple, and then there's only one, and then they all merge, and then they all come out. What if this is a fourth dimensional entity passing through the third dimension, and we're only seeing slices of it? That's my theory on what maybe truly alien things are. As far as life on other planets, yeah, microbiological, intellectual must happen out there. It's huge. And you did mention another thing. There was aliens. What was the other thing you mentioned?
Just cryptids that would put it in the category like lake monsters, Bigfoot,
Nessie, Dogman, Snarly Owl, yeah. So, well, here's a great anecdote to go with this. I'm quite skeptical of cryptids in general, like things like the Mothman and things like that. I'm a little bit skeptical of. However, recently, and I'm talking the last week and a half, there was a report in the UK. So for years and years, there's always been like on the downs, there's a big cat. There's big cats roaming on the downs in the UK. And it's always been a myth for like the past 50 or 60 years. People have caught like glimpses on a camera and people don't know what it is. This week, or a week and a half ago, like I said, it was confirmed. Yeah, it's probably a big cat out there. And they found part of a tooth, like of a big tooth. It shouldn't exist in the UK. And they don't know whether it's always existed or whether it was something that was let out as a pet and then it just bred with other cats. They don't know. But it's a big cat. So in that terms, that cryptid is now kind of confirmed. So why not other cryptids? I mean, as far as Nessie's concerned, I think that's played out, and I think it's well over, which is ironic because Sasquatch and Bigfoot and Yeti is also kind of played out, but the evidence is still kind of mounting on that. Yeah. Whereas Nessie, it's always just the same photos, or someone's photoed someone doing this in a lake or whatever.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, it's interesting. I'm kind of split on cryptids, I guess is what I'm saying.
Okay. So what's interesting here, and we've said this a million times, Dale. We've been really fortunate. Every show, the hour goes by super quick, and I'm telling you,
what? When did that happen?
This is an hour, and I swear I snap my fingers, and we don't use this loosely, but I mean, this is probably the fastest hour I've ever been privy to doing this show. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're transparent, you're humble, you're passionate, Barry. And that comes through, 100% about all of this,
Thanks very much. I mean, it's something I wanted to be. I wanted to be my authentic self. I wanted to do an authentic product and treat people. And that by people, I mean the customers of Chattergeist and the paranormal community as people. I didn't want to treat you as customers. I don't want to treat podcasts as an attempt to sell stuff. The idea is to talk about me, to talk about the device, and allow you to make up your own minds about everything that I've just said. If you think I'm a crazy conspiracy theorist,
no,
you haven't heard anything yet.
You fit right in, brother. You fit right in.
And Barry, this is what this show is about. It's about educating people and bringing people like yourself. Like, people know your device, but people don't know you and where you come from and who you are. And now this here puts you out there on a platform to say, this is the guy who is behind the Chattergeist Dimension devices. Like I said, I'm going to give you this opportunity right now. People who are listening, I have your website on the bottom, but please give us any way that people can contact you, get a hold of your device, just have questions. Tell the people how they can do that.
Yeah, sure. So I'm not a big fan of pimping myself out, but yeah, if you go to dimensiondevices.co.uk, on the contact page, you can contact us through there. We're on Instagram, dimension.devices. Twitter, Dimension Devices. We're on Facebook if you search for Dimension Devices. And yeah, I mean, get in contact with us. Even if you just want to get in contact with us and tell us some weird, fascinating story about nothing to do with Chattergeist, just contact us. We love these stories. And if you own a Chattergeist or you bought a Chattergeist and you have results, please tag us. Hashtag Chattergeist at us, at Dimension Devices. We will definitely get involved. We'll definitely save a copy of whatever you've experienced. We're like basically making like a little catalog of results that people have had with Chattergeist. Because we'd like to make a gallery of that sort of thing because it's getting crazier by the moment.
Absolutely. Once again, Barry, before we sign off here, I want to thank you so much for coming on, talking about your device, the Chattergeist, an amazing device. For those that have not seen it, heard it, used it, I am just one voice of probably thousands of devices you've already sold, and I say it is well worth the price of this device, and I look forward to using it down the road everywhere I go. It is always there, like I said, is the most handy dandy little device that you keep in. It takes the place of so many other devices. You don't have to keep running back to your box to carry a different device. It's all right there in the palm of your hand. Just touch the screen, go to the next thing you want to try out. Go to the next thing. Yes, and definitely film it if you can and send it to these guys and show them just how well their device really works. So Barry, once again, thank you from myself. It's been a great educational hour, learning more about the device. I'm even more excited about using it now than ever.
So very quickly. Lovely to meet you both, but very, very quickly as well. Today, as of 2.5 hours ago, we released the latest update as well. So
nice.
If you go to the Chattergeist area and update your device, now we have an animated canvas mode. So instead of the static pictures, which are just, like I said, were block by block color, now they animate as well if you wish them to. And they slowly morph and change, a bit like a lava lamp, but a little bit like step by step because it's polling data.
Excuse me, I have to go get my device. I have to update this thing.
Yeah, so it's something we're really, really excited. And thanks very much to Charm City Paranormal. Big shout out to them for the idea.
Yes.
So yeah, that's another thing. We take all ideas into account. If you want to just join the Discord or whatever, and just tweet us or just Instagram us with ideas for the Chattergeist, if it's good, we'll implement it.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yeah, it's lovely meeting you. And I'd love to come back if you want me back. We can chat some more weird conspiracy stuff.
Absolutely. I mean, you have not. We would like to have you back again because I'm sure we're just touching the tip of exactly what this device is and where it's going and what it's become. So yes.
I also think we're just touching the tip of who Barrie Reeder is as a paranormal enthusiast himself. He's got some theories, and I love. But at the end of the day, man, we all love our theories, and it's a never-ending road, and I'm excited to hear some more things. I'd bring you on just for that, let alone the device. You know what I mean? So definitely, I want to say thank you, first off, to Barrie Reeder for giving us an excellent show today. Oh my God, heaps of gratitude, brother, very much. The TPV Nation, the creeps, the freaks, the weirdos from day one to day now. Anybody that's watching this show or heard about the show, you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel. We want to get 500 subscribers. Please get us there. We get monetized if we get 500 subscribers. We're at 426, I believe, is the count right now. Make it happen. The journey is real. The dream is real. Let's get us all there, of course. Again, armed with 25 years, as we say, of experience, programming, electronics, Chattergeist, the device of all devices, a step above the average device company for sure. Barrie Reeder, thank you so much for your time. We'll see you all on the other side. But in the meantime, and in between time, happy hauntings.
Happy hauntings.
Happy hauntings.